Real Virginia is produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Farming, it's all good. Visit our website at vafarmbureau.org.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesterfield Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all of the wonderful products we enjoy. All-terrain vehicles are more popular every year. We have tips on how to ride them safely. The Tree of Heaven is not as heavenly as the name implies, and one Virginia farm family has found their passion in evergreens. Welcome back, everyone. We're here at Meadow Event Park at Meadow Hall Mansion, where we're decked to the nines for the holidays. And of course, the holidays mean gifts. And as Dave Miller tells us, all-terrain vehicles are very popular during this time of year, and it's a great time to review safe riding techniques.
Today's ATVs have come a long way from the original three-wheeler models, and they are a lot safer to ride. Like with all off-road equipment, safety is the owner's responsibility, and there are several steps every rider should take each time they start the engine. You'll find ATV dealers are always available to help you along with equipment and advice.
First of all, there's this aspect of safety apparel to be sure that you have dressed safely for this experience. To basically become familiar with your unit, especially for us, it's a brand new unit and these folks are not really used to it at this point in time. So it's take it easy, dress properly for it, and what we're seeing, I think, for the most part, is the accidents are really going down. I mean, people are becoming very safety conscious.
Safety is very important to both of us. We always wear a helmet. When we do things that we need to wear gloves, we wear work gloves, safety glasses if you're going to go through the woods. Footwear is important. You want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you've got on adequate footwear that provides protection.
ATVs can be driven year-round in Virginia. They are being used more by people every year for recreation, farm work, hunting and retrieving game, and for simply saving time and helping with farm chores.
When it comes to the farm, I've got a 10-acre farm and I've got horses, and it's so much easier to put a bale of hay on the back of that ATV and running it down the pasture than I have to carry it. So that's huge, but even more so than that, ATVs now lend themselves to agricultural uses where you can put sprayers and that type of thing and plow, and there's so many things available, so many pieces of equipment that are available for ATVs, which makes the farm life a lot easier.
ATVs are work savers and they're fun to ride. There are several types of ATVs available, including utility vehicles and newer side-by-side machines designed to take another passenger and carry more cargo. But no matter which model you select, you'll want to get some specific safety gear to go along with it.
The most important piece of gear you're going to have is your helmet. And I think that's extremely important because it's your head. It's the only one you have, so you want to protect it. I like gloves, the goggles, obviously with the helmet, then gloves, and maybe some high-top shoes or boots or whatever the case may be. From there you can take it, obviously you want to wear long sleeves, long pants to protect your body. There is a list of rules. They're not only listed on the ATV itself, but in the owner's manual and in the book, and if you adhere to those rules and regulations, the possibility of becoming injured is extremely small.
Over 50% of the accidents on ATVs occur when drinking is involved and when the vehicles are driven on paved roads. ATV tires are made for off-road surfaces and can lose their grip when driven on pavement. Statistics have shown that most fatalities occur when alcohol is involved and/or the rider is not wearing a helmet. However, when driven safely, there are few experiences quite like riding an ATV in the open air on a beautiful Virginia day. By getting familiar with your bike's controls, getting the right safety gear, and wearing the right types of apparel, you can have a lot of fun and be safe at the same time. From Chesterfield County, this is Dave Miller reporting.
Despite being a Richmond suburb, agriculture is still an important part of Chesterfield County. There are 197 farms here, 10% less than 5 years ago, and cash crops generate the most income for farmers. Corn, soybean, and wheat are the top crops, followed by nursery products, hay, and timber. While there are a few horses and pigs, beef cattle are the primary livestock. There are also a couple of flocks of goats and sheep, and several poultry houses still operate. Altogether, agriculture contributes $6.4 million to the economy of Chesterfield County, Virginia.
Coming up in the garden, Mark Viette explains why a once popular landscape tree is no longer desirable. Stay with us.
I love being a dairy farmer because it's an adventure to be a dairy farmer. It's a new beginning every day.
Every day I can get up in the morning and have a smile on my face, whether it's raining or whether the sun's shining. I love what I do.
Growing up on a dairy farm, I think you learn to work really hard and don't take anything for granted.
There's a lot of work to do on a dairy farm. You have to be committed.
It's a huge responsibility that we have being farmers. We take pride in it and we're proud to be able to do it.
Every day we have the opportunity to provide a wholesome product that's vitamin rich and nutrient full.
It's a feel-good feeling knowing that I'm putting food on somebody else's table and that I'm doing a good job doing it.
I am Ken Smith.
I'm Ben Smith, and I'm
dedicated
to
to
dairy,
my
my
cows,
cows, my milk,
my
my
land.
land.
Surprise!
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
It's been called the tree of heaven, but as Mark Viette tells us, this landscape plant can sometimes be quite devilish in the garden.
When you're traveling down the interstates, you might see this tree behind me. It can get 80 feet tall. This tree was brought into the United States to become a quick-growing shade tree. You know, they needed to bring in trees. This is one that was recommended. It, at that point in time, was called the tree from heaven. It's also known as a Chinese sumac, and botanically, it's known as Ailanthus altissima. But we're finding out it's probably not the tree from heaven. It's a tree from somewhere else. This tree produces seed pods that spread all over. And it is a tree that really has given problems to farmers. It grows along fence rows and it spreads very quickly. And it is difficult to eliminate. I'll tell you, you would think by looking at this tree, well, I'll come in and I'll cut it down. Cutting it down makes it worse. And I'll show you in a minute what that does. But this tree comes up. It has roots that go out 20 or 30 feet or more. The roots almost produce something similar to what black walnuts do. It is a hormone that prevents other plants from growing well. This does look like a black walnut, so you do need to be sure if you're trying to get rid of this noxious tree that you're not getting rid of some of the sumacs and you're not getting rid of black walnut. Let me show you what this tree does when you try to cut it down. Last year, I started resurrecting an old vegetable garden, trimming the garden, trimming some of the trees, and lo and behold, right in the front here, I have this so-called tree from heaven. That tree there is probably about 5 years old. What I did last year was prune some of the side branches and little trunks so I could have an easier time cutting it to the ground. What I found this year was all the way out here and beyond me, all these shoots are coming up from the roots. So if we had 8 or 9 long roots produced from this tree, all along each of those roots, there are new shoots coming up. Right in front of me here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new shoots coming out into growth from this tree here. What does make it a little difficult is if you need to treat this tree, which we'll talk about in a minute, with a weed killer, and once you've cut the tree, there's no way to treat these little new shoots, so you have to individually treat each of them. This is a tree that I really don't recommend for our gardens. It is not the tree from heaven, and if any of you have this on a property that you have, you'll realize that soon. This spring I was looking for a workout, so I decided to go out in the garden and hand dig these tree from heavens. What I found is that where I dug this young tree from, again, 12 feet from the tree, all these shoots started popping up. And this is a young one. 2 years ago, I pruned a tree about this size, and I cut it in 8-foot lengths. I laid the logs on the ground, and the logs started sprouting new shoots. This tree is something that none of us really want in our garden. And there's only a couple ways probably you want to deal with this tree, and I just recommend that you go online to find specific chemicals, but pretty much if you tried to remove this even with a backhoe, all the roots are going to produce new plants. So what you're going to want to do is treat this tree with a recommended chemical that not only kills the tree part you see here, also kills the trunk and also kills the roots from the trunk. And you can find that out by going online. You can also find that out by going to garden stores, and they'll give you the recommended products. But again, you want to spray it, and some people have bark treatments, some people have stump treatments, but you want to eliminate it first. And keep in mind, many weed killers work the best in the fall. In the spring, all the nutrients and all the sugars that have been stored all spring long flow upward into the tree. But in the fall, all the nutrients and sugars that have been produced by this tree travel down and go into the roots. So if you're treating it with a product, the product can go farther out into the roots and give you less problems into the future. I'm going to tell you, I don't think this is the tree from heaven. This is the tree from hell. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
Lots of folks entertain for the holidays, and we have a recipe for a fun treat up next on Real Virginia. Dazzling lights on winter nights will put you in the mood for the holiday season. It's the Illuminate Light Show in Santa's Village at the Meadow Event Park November 14th through January 3rd in Caroline County. This spectacular drive-through holiday lighting event takes travelers through a musical show of color, lights, and design. Giant animated holiday displays and illuminated trees lead to Santa's Village, where families can visit Santa Claus and enjoy the sights and magic of Christmas. To learn more, go to illuminatelightshow.com.
Barry, time is running out. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. How can so many children face hunger when there's more than enough food to feed them all? You're right, Barry. We can help solve hunger by teaming up with Feeding America to get food to hungry kids in communities across the country.
Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America.
Our vacation in a Virginia state park was a wonderful idea. The lodge is beautiful and it has so much room. The park staff are super helpful, and the kids are having such a great time. We're learning all about Virginia's history, and Mark and I even have time for just the two of us. This has been a wonderful experience, and we've never felt so close as a family. We'd love for you to join us. Love, Virginia.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Sometimes when you have friends and family over for the holidays, you want to keep your hors d'oeuvres simple. That's why Miss America 2010 Carissa Jackson shows us her recipe for pigs are the blanket in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Caressa Jackson for Heart of the Home. I'm here at the kitchen at the Meadow Event Park. And since the holidays are here, it's time for some really great appetizers. I've chosen to make Piggies Are the Blanket. We're going to be using pork because it's a leading industry leading back to the colonial days. And we're also going to be using turkey smokies because poultry is also a leading industry in Virginia. So we chose to combine two of the best ingredients that Virginia has to offer to bring this recipe of an appetizer to you. So this is a twist on Pigs in the Blanket because the Piggies will be the blanket. We're going to use bacon instead of the traditional crescent rolls that people tend to use. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and start with our glaze. So take a small saucepan and you want to bring your stove up to about medium heat. And we are going to melt 1/4 stick of butter. As the butter is melting, you want to slowly add in 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And at the point when the butter is almost completely melted, we want to go ahead and turn it off and allow the butter to continue to melt on a low heat stove. So as we are waiting for our brown sugar and butter to melt, we're going to go ahead and grease this pan with a little bit of olive oil, or if you have your own favorite non-stick cooking spray, that will work as well. So I'm going to show you two methods of how you can roll your smokies inside the bacon. You can do a pre-cut method or you can do a roll and cut method. So the first method that I'm going to show you is pre-cut method. I have cut a piece of bacon into about a 2-inch in length piece, and you want to stretch and roll. And then you want to put your bacon in your pan seam side down. This will prevent them from busting apart while they're cooking. This is something you can do if you want to just go ahead the night before and cut your bacon up, but if you have more time, you can do this method, which is the roll and cut. And so this will be taking just a regular piece of bacon, and you want to start with your smoky on the end and roll it, and you can make it as thick or as thin as you like. For bacon lovers out there, you might want to roll it 2 or 3 times. So we are going to spread our sugar mixture over our smokies. So you just want to dollop and spread. You want to make sure you evenly distribute it all over the smokies. Our oven has been set to 400. We will bake these for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to crank it up to about 425 to finish off the sugar and to make the bacon nice and crispy. So now that we have our smokies out of the oven, they are nice and brown, the bacon is crispy, we can go ahead and plate these. I like to use fun party toothpicks. They always make the occasion much cooler. So you can use any colors you like. I've chosen blue and clear because those are the colors on my plate. Got to keep with the theme. These can also be served bowl style, or if you have people who just want to hurry up and eat, they can just come and get them from straight out of the roasting pan. And there you have it. I'm Caressa Jackson for Heart of the Home, and these are Piggies Are the Blanket. Come and get it.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafarmbureau.org.
Hog and pig sales generate $67.7 million for Virginia farmers, according to the U.S. Census of Agriculture, and that's before they're processed into the famous Virginia hams and other pork products. Virginia has 1,200 hog farms, of which 919 raise hogs under contract to processing companies. Together, they produce almost 240,000 animals. Prospects for the hog industry continue to be good. Pork is the world's most consumed meat product, and pork exports continue to grow from Virginia. In 2012, pork exports were worth more than $123 million. That's a lot of piggies in a blanket.
We all want healthy rivers and streams, but we can't do that without help from Virginia's landowners. Resource Management Plans, or RMPs, are part of a voluntary program that helps farmers get credit for cleaning up our waters. And once you have an RMP, you are exempt from any new water quality requirements for 9 years. The Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation has funds available to help you implement these plans. Contact the department today to learn more. Thank you.
This message sponsored by Virginia's agriculture community.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
It's evergreen season with Christmas trees up everywhere. And you could say that Grayson County is the Christmas tree capital of Virginia. That's where more than 1 million trees are grown every year to help thousands celebrate the holidays nationwide. The weather outside may be frightful, but nothing is stopping the crew at Sievert's Tree Farm from harvest season. The Grayson County Christmas tree growers work nonstop from early November through mid-December. Their evergreens will be the holiday focal point for homes up and down the East Coast.
70,000 plus. We figure probably about 75. We cut, most of the time our last shipments will go out around the 5th, between the 5th and the 10th of December.
The Sievert's Christmas Tree Farm started in Elk Creek in 1969, and Taylor has been working there as the farm manager for his father-in-law.
We go in March and we're prepping fields and stuff, you know, to get ready to plant. And because when we cut a tree, we're planting a tree back. There's something constantly. You're always, you know, trying to keep weeds out of the field. You're shearing to shape the tree. You're fertilizing, and it's just, you know, it's just constant all the time. Something every month.
The recently harvested trees were hand-tagged and graded back in the summer. The farm hires workers throughout the area year-round. They cut trees using a unique chainsaw, then load them through a baler to string wrap them. The trees are then brought back to the warehouse where they will be sorted and shipped to major retail chains and tree lots.
We have customers in New Jersey, Virginia Beach. Well, like in Virginia, for instance, we have customers up around Charlottesville, and then we ship south to Florida, and we go north up into New York.
The most popular variety is the Fraser fir, but the farm also raises blue spruce, Scotch pine, and grand fir trees. Employees also make fresh wreaths from tree cuttings. They cut trees from 3 feet tall to 12 feet tall.
You get about a foot a year on average. And so for the best selling trees, which is a 6 to 7, 7 to 8, you're looking at from, you know, around 7 to 8 years from the time you plant it. And then we have some trees like we're cutting today that have been in the ground about 12 years. It just depends on what the customer wants.
Taylor says you can continue to reap the benefits of your live Christmas tree after the holidays. Trees are biodegradable and can be reused or recycled for mulch. Some counties offer curbside pickup for recycling, or you can even cut up your own tree and use it in your compost container. To keep your Christmas tree fresh as long as the season permits, give it all the water it will take up and keep the temperature in your room as cool as possible. That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer, whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape. We're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching and make it a good week.
Home will always be Chesterfield Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia.